Fermentation on the Kveik beers is completed, at least as far as I know. What we're going to do right now is go through the 5 different strains that I've had and do an analysis on them. First thing I want to do is first take a sample. Of course, we're going to collect the final gravities on each one of them. We're also going to check the pH, and then we're going to have some tasting notes on each one. A little bit of background in terms of what the fermentation was like. I set these guys up into fermentation at 37 degrees Celsius. 4 strains I set up at 37 degrees Celsius. Murray was the only exception that stayed at room temperature for 36 hours. So the 4 other ones that we're going to take a look at were done fermentation at 37 degrees Celsius for 3 days in a row. And then I took them and put them here in the brewery, which is 14 degrees Celsius, for about 2 days. And then I've had them in my fridge at 12 degrees for about 24 hours. Now, when we checked on those beers in the fridge, they had positive pressure on them. So, which basically means that they were still probably fermenting and that they had positive pressure on the airlocks. And either they can continue to ferment at 12 degrees or not, but at least they had positive pressure, which kind of leads to some obvious conclusions. So we're going to check the final gravities and see if it makes sense, those sort of things, the pHs and things like that. So yeah, let's get started.
Let's do it.
Here are the 4 beers. So we've got the Murray, Sigmund Gjernes, Arve Espe, Nornes, and the Stig Staljen. So let's go ahead and start open with Stig Staljen. So the first one we're going to start off on is the Stig Staljen. This way. So the cap's only been on it for a few minutes, so it's still flat. And of course, for those of you that don't know, the Kveik beer, malt Öl, Kornøl, they're supposed to be drank flat, non-carbonated. That's their tradition. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and we'll talk about it. Get it into a glass and tell you about the characteristics. So the base beer was, of course, the one that I brewed up for the Kveik Brew Day, which is a very simple recipe. Stig Staljen. And it came out 13 IBUs on this one. Let's go ahead and get the characteristics on it. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
The aroma. It's a little bit different.
It's a bit different, yeah. It's sort of a sharp, almost spicy aroma. I'm trying to, it's very complex. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it, actually.
I get some caramel.
You do?
Yeah, it's like a toffee caramel. It's very, very light, with some slight alcoholic notes to it.
Yeah. Do I get orange? Slight bit of orange.
There's a bit of orange, yeah. It's like a candy, it's not a candy apple, but kind of like a candy orange sort of thing. Yeah.
Candy orange that is not overly sweet.
You're right.
Yeah. Could I call it tart? No, fresh. I think spicy and orangey and
definitely
with
spicy.
Toffee.
I get something with a little bit of, I don't know what it is. It's cinnamon. It's like a candy cinnamon, a candy something that's in there, a candy spice.
Mm.
Hard to put a finger on.
It is. It doesn't smell like anything I've smelled from the beer before, I think. Something completely different, but
So
in a very good way.
Yeah, it's
Mind
complex and it's sweet. I do get some of that malt backbone, so it is there.
Mm.
It's a bit bready. But it's got some candy nature to it, some candy notes, and a little bit of alcohol notes. Should we take a sip?
Let's dive in.
Let's dive in. Cheers.
Cheers again. Cheers
Thanks
to you
for watching.
guys.
Thank you, Stig Staljen, for sharing the Kveik.
Thank you very much.
Kind of like
Wow, that is
silky, caramelly. It's like a Belgian.
yeah. It's almost
Quad-ish.
peachy now. The taste is almost peachy, I think.
Yeah, there's some. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it would be
peach.
like a light fruit Belgian.
Yeah,
It's like a dark Belgian, but with
Yeah.
light fruit taste.
it's smooth as hell. Mouthfeel is actually more towards a sweeter dessert wine than a beer, and that's probably because of the lack of carbonation, but I don't miss the carbonation. It tastes just right.
Tastes
It's
very-
incredibly complex.
Yeah, it is. It is very nice, complex, in a very nice way. There's no sour notes,
No.
no hint of lacto.
No. It's got a bitterness to it.
Yeah,
So
there is a
little
bit of
bitterness, residual bitterness.
Okay, so that brings up a question. Do you get any of the juniper?
No. But it might be
No
there. It
juniper.
might be there in the mouthfeel and the some of the nose, but don't get anything that I can pinpoint as juniper. But it might be there in these. No. I'm not sure.
Maybe
no.
it's kind of like that, like a candy. Man, go back. Yeah, I wish I had saved some of that juniper infusion because it might be like that candy juniper infusion.
Yeah, because I remember when I did my brew, I did a brew with juniper. It was a pale ale, so it was nothing like this. But when I did taste the water, it was like a very smooth green tea with a hint of the forests in it. So it wasn't very, it wasn't dominating at all. But I've had it in soaking in water for an hour. You've had it for what, 5, 6?
It was
Something like that.
at least 5. It was up to 6 hours.
But some of this might actually be that because it changed character. If you compare it to just smelling the branches and the.
That's very nice.
So let's do that.
But let's go ahead and take a look at what the final gravity is on this and the pH. Okay, so looking at the analysis of it, after 3 days fermentation and of course the time cycle that I just talked about, we're sitting at about 1.015. Actually a little bit more than that, so you can see the 5 line there. So it's about 1.05, 1.0155, right in the middle of it. And then looking at the pH, it's down on 4.42. The original gravity on this beer started out at 1.083. So to see it come down to here 1.015 or 1.016 over the course of 3 days at 36 degrees Celsius is pretty interesting. All right, let's go ahead and get some final thoughts. Okay, so starting out at 1.083, coming all the way down to 1.015 or even 1.016. We're talking very close to a 9% beverage here. 8.8, 8.9.
8.97.
So it's right up there, and alcohol notes, slight alcohol notes on the aroma.
Yeah, maybe some. Yeah,
It's very slight, just a sliver.
you have to get really way down into the glass, and yeah. If I'm close to the liquid, I can get the
And on the taste,
I don't get anything.
no alcohol whatsoever.
No alcohol.
It's just smooth, little silky. So you say peachy.
And a bitterness that actually develops after some time. It's not bitter in the beginning, but I get some bitterness after I think 3, 4, 5 seconds.
But very little.
Very little.
It
Very
just
little.
Kind of
Pleasant.
makes it balanced. It's kind of balanced.
It is. It's drinking like a fine wine.
And this has only been fermenting for, well, I brewed this last weekend.
Yeah.
And it's Friday today, so not too shabby.
Not too shabby. What's Friday?
It's, yeah. 6 days.
Yeah. I know what, I'm not sure if you've thought about this, but you know that you are now a part of a history and a legacy in Norway that goes back for centuries, maybe even thousands of years. That principle of brewing has been here for as long as there have been people around this country. And it's awesome to think about that, and to think about the processes, the guys out in the farms, what they do use, and how they experimented the way up through the generations without the knowledge we have access to today, and just ended up with this.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
This is very nice. So, with that, thank you very much, the guys at Ike and Teed, for sharing the yeast for this. Stig Staljen, very nice drink you have here. Very nice yeast. So,
Very
good on
nice.
you.
Good.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So, in this video, we are going to continue the series of the Kveik tasting. In this video, we have the Nornes strain. This is coming from the Voss area. Again, bottled just a little while ago. So let's go ahead, crack this open, and share the experience.
No point tipping in the glass on this one.
There's no carbonation in here. This is the tradition. And it's all about visual, aroma, taste.
The experience.
The experience. Now, again, very similarly colored to the last one. None of them, of course, are going to be clear. None of them were clear even after settling for some days in chilly conditions. So,
but there were differences.
There were slight differences.
Some were more murky than the others.
More murky, some were darker.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go ahead and get the aroma on Nornes.
Let's do that. Cheers.
Cheers. Uniquely different.
Yeah. Is it a bit smoother? It's not as sharp and it's not as spicy.
Yeah, it is more subdued. It's less intense.
But it got some similarities actually.
It's the candy aspect.
Yeah.
That's what I get. Candy spice, but not the alcohol.
No alcohol, and the spice is more subdued. I think I get more of the
It's kind of like
malts now, breadiness.
breadiness.
Yeah. Or more bread here than the last one was more the crackers.
Yeah.
Cookies.
Biscuits.
Biscuits.
Yeah, like a very plain biscuit.
Oatmeal biscuit maybe. Looking for words there.
There's a childhood fruit or candy that I had that sort of continues to come back, but this one is different but similar. It's it's like the dipsticks, that you used to have, and the powder that would come with it. You stick it in your mouth.
That one.
I had a little bit of that.
Mm.
It's very similar to that. It's like it's just it's like a dark fruitiness. Like it's not grapes, it's not cherries, it's not plums or.
It's a mix.
Yeah, it's like walking through a mall and smelling, an Arabic perfume or something like that. It's not so intense. It's very.
Maybe
it's very mellow, but it's there.
The smell you might have when standing at the fruit vendor in some warm country, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, could be.
The bazaars in Istanbul, maybe.
There's nothing specific, right?
No.
It's not like a specific.
It's
fruit.
very. The smell that's very coherent.
But it's fruity. It's not tropical.
It is.
It's not earthy. It is somewhat spicy. It's like a fruity spiciness to it.
It's more towards the raisins, maybe.
There's a bit of that.
Bit of that sort of smell I get from my Trappist, which I used a lot of a special bee in. That little special.
It's not piney. There's no dankness whatsoever.
Well,
let's dive in and take a sip and see if it follows through. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you, Nornes.
Thank you, Nornes.
Okay. Same type of mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Nice, light medium mouthfeel.
Smooth. Slick.
Very smooth.
Could I use the word slick on that?
You could.
It's very silky on the tongue.
Yeah.
The thing is, with this one and the last one, when I taste it, in the mouthfeel, it feels aged.
It does, doesn't it?
It is not.
It's 6 days
That
old.
gets me. It's 6 days old. 2 days after fermentation.
Old compared to Kveik standards.
Yeah. This is ancient. Should be drunk 2 weeks ago, before it was brewed. Oh. But sweeter. It's more on the. This is more towards the sweeter Belgian beer yeast tastes, I think. But still get some of that peach notes, dry peach notes, maybe. It's very
peachy, apricot-y.
Yeah, apricot maybe. Yeah. It's a lot of different things.
But it's like it's dried, the dried fruit, not the not like fresh.
No.
Wholesale fruit.
Agreed.
Now, maybe that's where the candy sort of hints come from. That aspect of it.
You're right. It's sweeter. I think it's sweeter.
Sweeter than
Feels
the other?
sweeter than the other one.
Well,
without being sweet.
Well, that brings us to the next step of this endeavor. Let's go ahead and check the gravity on this one and the pH. Okay, so here we go, looking at the stats for the Nornes. This one, again, very similar to the Stig Staljen, finished out just over 1.015. It's closer, it's right on 1.016. The pH in this one, it's hovering right around 4.38. So it just dropped down from 3.9 after about a minute. So, good looking pH on this one, and tasting really nice. Final notes on this one, getting a little bit of tartness as it warms up.
Yeah.
Ever so slightly though. With the mouthfeel and the complexity of those fruits, it's like a blonde quad.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
That is exactly what it is.
The Stig Staljen that we had just before this, very, very similar. I would say that was as complex as a blonde quad as well.
But that was a bit more spicy and little less sweet.
And a little more alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, it was not overly so.
No. But this is just so nice. So nice. Awesome.
Yeah. With that said, thank you so much, Jon Nornes, for sharing your Kveik. This is fantastic. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Tusen takk.
All right, so this one is the third in the series of Kveik tastings. This time we are doing the Arve Espe Espa, is the name of the originator where this came from. There's little to no information about this one, so really looking forward to crack into it and see how it's different than the others. This one comes from the Hornindal area. So that's the history. Let's go ahead and get it cracked open, share the experience. Again, these are not carbonated. They are not meant to be carbonated.
Thanks.
They're meant to be drunk within just a couple days after they have been fermented. What's the story in terms of how these should be drunk after they're fermented?
The thing I've been reading in the Garshol book from Garshol. Yeah, Garshol is that especially in Morgedal, I think the story was from Morgedal and maybe also Stjørdal. That after the beer had finished fermenting, and just like us, I think they literally sat for a couple of days, and then you had something they called for oppskok. Oppskok, which is just a meeting where everybody was invited. They brought their own glasses, and according to the legend I read, 10% of the brew was to be consumed at least at that meeting.
Sounds like a very nice tradition.
Yeah, sounds like been some lively meetings up during the history. So
sounds good.
That's good. That's a story.
So, Arve Espe Espa, let's go ahead and get the aroma. Cheers.
Wow.
Okay.
That's something completely different.
Wow.
Wow. Jeez. What is?
That's
it's
like,
almost a.
I get love child on that.
Yeah. As a sour, that's Brett, isn't it?
I get.
I get the Brett aroma.
It's definitely
Holy cow.
a bit of funk.
Quite a bit actually.
Yeah. After 3 days, there's good funk on this.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Love Child. Get a bit of the maltiness, and bits of that funk, and it's not overpowering.
No, this is like a very sort of subdued version of Love Child. It's just 35-40% of the intensity of that Love Child beer.
I can't believe that these beers have been sitting just.
We've only put them in the bottle. You saw us probably.
Probably. Yes. I'd pay good money for this. This is
Hornindal.
Vastly different.
It is vastly different. It is
something else.
It's been there for so that funkiness. Okay, let's come back to the aroma.
Sorry, get carried away.
Yeah. Oh man, it's got some nice fruity notes to it, but not like those dried fruits now. No. Now you're getting more lively, fresh fruit.
Get some of that. That's probably just by association and not the real aroma, but I get the hay, that's been dried, dried during the summer, and just when you collect it in the late summer
down the farmhouse barn. Hay.
That along with that Brett character.
I can't wait to taste this and see if it follows through.
Let's do it.
Wow, thanks a lot. Arve Espe Espa. Wow, this is
Arve Espe.
Cheers.
Cheers. This is.
Seriously?
Seriously, man.
That's complex.
Super complex.
It's got layers to it, and it's wow.
And it all sticks together.
The funkiness is there. The fruitiness is there. It's got a bit of spice to it.
Yeah.
It's nice, medium, light mouthfeel, light medium mouthfeel on it. Same as the other one. Slightly slick.
I should get lemonades. Lemonade-like by taste to it. The lies just.
This one I get this. You say lemon, I get citrus.
Yeah, citrus. Yeah.
And just generic citrus. It's not orange or tangerine. It's just citrus zest.
Yeah.
Wow. With the funkiness to it. Beautiful funkiness.
Beautiful beer. Jeez.
Now we can't drink too much more. We gotta go on to the next step. All right. These. I mean.
I'll drink it.
I'm blown away by this.
Yeah, it is.
This is very, very nice. Nowhere near, I think, as simple from the taste and notes I had from the starter. This is, wow, 6 days. Okay, how will this one age? I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look at the analysis on this one. Looking at the hydrometer, we can see that it's finished much higher than the other beer, so it's not attenuated nearly as much as the others. We're about 1.026 on this one, which puts it at about a 7.5% beer. And looking at the pH meter, we're at about 4.04, which does explain the tartness that we're getting, but not necessarily the Brett-like funkiness at this young age. So that's pretty interesting. So that's the analysis of the Arve Espe Espa. Final taste and notes on the Arve Espe Espa.
Espa.
Espe Espa. Yeah.
Espa.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Before I forget it, what I said to you while you were taking the pH. After some time, I think it was a minute or two, I still got the taste, the aftertaste, rolling around in my mouth, and it started giving off getting some honey.
Oh yeah,
flavors,
right.
And I think that's a bit of the sweetness, but some aromatic, maybe kind of flower honey or something like that. But regular honey aftertaste.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very afraid to let this one age capped in the bottle. I don't want it to become a bottle bomb, so I need to get this one taken care of very, very soon. But I don't foresee that being a problem with the taste.
Not at all.
Unbelievable to get this sort of Brett characteristic from a beer that's only 6 days old. This is very good, very, very good.
It tastes like an aged beer, and a beer that had been aged for a long time and taken good care of. And again, like with the other ones, I forget that it's not carbonated.
Now,
I don't miss it at all.
Yeah, that's true. You don't miss the carbonation.
Yeah, you drink it like a wine.
Yeah, and when you talk about the agedness of it, I mean, I think of like a Trefontaine, a Gauza, or one of those types of beers, a Belgian Lambic.
Yeah, Lambic.
It's got that sort of age characteristic, but it's very, very young. Now, I understand that those beers, they ferment out and they go very, very low. We're talking like 1 Play-Doh, and then they carbonate them into beer with some Brett, so it finishes out around 0, or 1.001 or 1.002, very, very close to that. So to see this one have this much complex taste, with such a high gravity,
1025,
you can see
1026.
It's got some legs to go, but it tastes fantastic. Just
Sure
young.
does. Yeah.
So surprising. Unbelievable.
Mind-boggling.
With that said, thank you very much, Arve Espe Espa, for sharing your Kveik. This is impressive. Hornindal.
Hornindal.
Cheers.
Cheers. Skål!
Skål!
This
That
could
taste.
do the job of a dessert wine. Definitely.
Oh yeah.
With some sorbets or some fruits or some cheesecakes maybe. Definitely take because it's got the
Totally.
sweetness on the legs of a good dessert wine and the complexity. A non-beer drinker might like this if they like a flavorful wine.
True.
I think.
Very true.
Jeez, I did not expect that at all.
That was nice. Wow. Hey. Continuing, the fourth in this Kveik session series is going to be the Sigmund Gjernes. This is one from the Hornindal area as well.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead, get this one cracked open, get into the glass, share the experience. Ooh. A little bit of a hiss on that one.
Yeah, actually, that was 3 hours.
Yeah, how about
2 or 3 hours.
Let's see if we get some
Jesus,
carbon. Oh, look, there's some bubbles forming.
that is insane. I can't believe it.
Let's go ahead. See what we got. This one is definitely cloudier. Very clearly more cloudy.
Yeah.
So what do we know about Sigmund Gjernes? We know that he's very popular, very active. He's on Facebook. He's not like just a legend. He's a legend. He's a living legend. He is up on the
Kornøl og Kveik.
Kornøl og Kveik group up on Facebook.
Yep.
Which is mostly all Norwegians talking about sharing their experiences with Kveik yeast, Kornøl, and maltøl, and all good things like that. You see, this one is clearly more visible than the other ones, but it is light. It's only been in the bottle for about 3 hours.
And it's forming a head.
It already formed a head. It's got some carbonation building up, I think.
This is insane. Let's
Definitely.
swirl it and see what happens.
Okay.
Jesus.
Definitely gonna have to keep this one underneath cold temperatures to ensure it doesn't become a bottle bomb. So let's go ahead and get the aroma on this one. See how she smells. Cheers.
Cheers. It's a bit more mellow than the other ones. For me.
More mellow, but still much in line with the first two.
Yeah. You can tell they are related. The intensity is different.
I don't get that candy aroma that I did before.
No. Very slightly in that case.
But it's sort of like a light spiciness to it. When I say light spiciness, I don't mean like light in terms of intensity. I mean sort of light like color. I don't know how that sort of comes through. Is it like a cardamom sort of aroma? Sort of light spice. It's not something dark like garam masala or something like that.
No, but as I said, I get the somewhat of the same aromas as the two first. And not the Espe, but the other two. But
Stig Staljen.
Yeah, a bit less intense.
And the Nornes. Yeah, it's similar to the Stig Staljen and the Nornes.
Yeah. Less intense, but it's there. You can tell. You can tell that they are, at some point back in history, related. I think.
Let's go ahead and dive in and see if the taste follows the nose.
Let's do that. Cheers.
Thank you very much, Sigmund Gjernes, for sharing your Kveik. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, that's pleasant.
It is, isn't it? It's more along the lines of a blonde.
Yeah.
Like a deep, intense blonde.
A bit bitter. I get the bitterness more faster in this one than the other ones.
There's a heavy, not a heavy sweetness to it, but there's a
robust.
Significant.
You use the word robust, maybe.
Sweetness. Yeah. With the following bitterness, it's just sort of nice, cleanly cleanses the palate, dries the palate out a little bit.
Definitely.
Again, it's strange because It's not raisins. It's not like plums or figs, but it's the equivalent of the lighty fruits that are sort of tying into this one. It's
Well, this I almost can, for some reason, taste the sun. I get the
sun?
associations of sunshine and being
Sun.
out and warmth.
I was going
and
to say like
pleasantness.
yeah, sun,
Warmness.
pleasantness.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Associations.
it's kind of like a sweet triple.
Oh yeah, right. And I also think we have to jump to the lab before I drink up my sample. We can take the pH
Sounds like
before it goes away, because this is definitely is very moreish. Every time I take a sip, I want another one.
Yeah.
It's even more the case with this one than the other ones.
Okay.
So.
All right, so let's go ahead and take this to the instruments and see what the analysis is.
But analyze it.
Analyze it. Okay, taking a look at the Sigmund Gjernes. If we look at the hydrometer, very similar to the Arve Espe. We're coming in at a high gravity here, looking at 1.023, maybe even 2.5. It's got quite a bit of residual sweetness left into it. If we look at the pH, we're right down to about 4.42. We've been there for a little over 40 seconds or so, about 30-40 seconds. So that concludes the analysis on the Sigmund Gjernes. Final thoughts on the Sigmund Gjernes. Let's go. I'm definitely getting some peach. I'm getting some of that apricot and maybe a hint of apple. You know, a little bit like apple spice in there.
Yeah.
As it warms up.
That little fresh apple taste. Green apples maybe? No. Yeah. So not in the off flavor way.
It's like green apples, maybe even brown sugar, a bit of maple.
Bit of honey in this one as well, I think, maybe.
But there's definitely some spice. Coming in at 1.023. Again, this is going to be like a 7.6, 7.7 type beer. Tasting really smooth. Yeah. You get a nice hit of sweetness. You get those. It's not terribly complex, but they're very nice layered flavors. There's at least 3 or 4 layers there coming through, and then it dries out and really wants you begging for more.
Very coherent.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Thank you, Sigmund Gjernes, for sharing your Kveik. This is delicious.
Thank you, Sigmund.
Cheers.
Cheers. Skål.
Skål. Let's go ahead and do the final 5th beer. This one is going to be doing the Murray. This one comes from
Olden.
Let's go ahead and crack this open. Share the experience.
Oh, this too looks very much like the other one. Murky, a bit darker.
Murky and a bit darker.
Oh, it's more heavy.
And a little bit of Farmhouse.
Yeah.
On that one. Definitely
Hefeweizen banana. Definitely. And yeah, some...
Yeah, there's a Farmhouse banana. Farmhouse banana. That's a weird twist, isn't it?
It is. But
that's interesting.
Oh.
There's a
super
mix,
nice.
It's like you said, there's a mix between Hefeweizen and a Farmhouse ale.
The Weihenstephaner type with a apparent banana. And that...
There's some clove.
Jeez, do I get some mint?
Mint?
Do I get that?
There's definitely some sort of...
peppermint or some...
green leaf.
Cooling sort of spice there. Aromatics going on.
This one's very complex.
Super complex.
Now, I initially thought by the aroma, from previous experience, I thought it was going to be more Belgian-esque, but it's not. It's got a very, very unique sort of aroma to it, doesn't it?
It sure does. And again, totally different beast than the other ones.
It is. This one is
Jeez.
a totally different beast than the first, second, and fourth. So this is very, very interesting. He's got to go, so we got to be very fast.
Yeah,
in this one. So
literally
this
2
one is-
minutes.
wow. Let's go ahead. And
Yeah, we have to taste it before I leave.
Cheers.
Cheers. Holy.
How do you describe that?
Like a sweet farmhouse Weihenstephaner.
It's like a
More or less.
creamy,
Yeah.
orange
Creamy as-
banana.
Oh yeah. Lots of banana.
creamy orange banana. It's like an orange creamsicle with banana. I don't know. Not quite. It's more banana than it is orange creamsicle. But
The predominant character is what I recognize from Weihenstephaner and those maybe those Franziskaner Hefeweizens.
Yeah.
But there's something else.
there is definitely something else going on in this.
Orangey again, I think.
Oh yeah, there's some orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like when you mix
More orange than peach this time.
banana juice and orange juice
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Jeez.
Wow.
I wish
Okay.
you guys can taste this, but I have to go. So
You gotta go. So, thank you. Thank you very much, Murray, for sharing your Kveik. This is extremely interesting, unlike any other beer I've ever tasted.
sure is. Sure is. Thank you very much. And thank you, Tony, for taking me along for this experience. It's been a blast.
You're very welcome. This is great.
It is.
We will do it again.
We will do it again.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everyone.
Okay, so we were both so intrigued with the taste of Murray, we didn't leave enough to do both a pH test and a gravity test at the same time. So let's go ahead and take a look at the gravity. If we move in, take a little bit of focus here, we can see that it's quite high, right? After about 36 hours at room temperature, where 1.0, we're probably close to 3.0 on this one. 15, 20, 25. Yeah, we're probably looking at about 1.027. And that would definitely make sense. When it comes to looking at Murray and pH, we're looking at the middle end of 4, so about 4.5, showing 4.55. Okay, so Kristian had to leave me a little bit early, so I'll leave with my final tasting notes on the Murray. Let's go ahead. Taste is a very complex aroma of some Belgian-esque spices, but also some fruitiness that's there as well. So it's almost like, you know, the best of two worlds colliding. Let's go in for the taste. A very medium, a solid medium mouthfeel on this one. You would expect that with the level of sweetness. I'm not detecting any alcohol whatsoever, but I do fall back on, and I do get that sort of banana orange notes, and it's quite strong on this one. It's not like pungent or anything. It's just, it's nice and smooth, and that is what it is. It's orange, banana, with a bit of Belgian-esque spiciness. It leaves a nice lingering sweetness on the mouth. It's not cloying, but it's not dry either. It's very balanced. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what Murray will be like if it's fermented at a high temperature for the same amount of time, or at room temperature for normal fermentation periods. Because again, this one is about 36 hours of fermentation at 18 degrees Celsius. I did bump it up to 20 degrees Celsius for the last day, and then it's been between 12 and 14 degrees Celsius for the last 2 days. So this is a very, very interesting yeast, and the flavors that it's producing is unlike any other descriptor that I've ever read from White Labs or Y Yeast or anything like that. It's very, very unique. There you go. That is the tasting notes of all of the 5 Kveik yeasts that I have. I hope that you've learned something from this. I certainly know that I have. I want to let you know that if you're in the Oslo area, I'm more than willing to share this with you. Just send me a message on Facebook, send me a message here on YouTube, send me a message any which way that you can, and we'll hook up and we'll do an exchange of the yeast, maybe exchange some beers, totally up to you. But yeah, really looking forward to continuing to propagate more of this yeast and use it in more of my beers that I brew here at home. So with that said, thank you very much, Murray. Thank you very much for the guys at Ike and Teed for sharing these with me. Very, very interesting yeast indeed. Wow, I'm just blown away. No doubt about it, yeast makes the beer. Cheers.